with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Jacobs up the middle and in. Touchdown, Green Bay.
And it's the day after.
As a quarterback sneak, Jordan Love being shoved in, and he's in. Touchdown, Green Bay, and they're back in front.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
And it's blocked! Oh, my goodness, the Packers block it, and they're going to win!
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Told our guys we'll never, ever apologize for winning, and we'll take it, and we're going to learn from this, and we got a big battle next week.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios, here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Well, welcome in, everybody. Here we go. It's a Victory Monday edition of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Gary Ellerson and Greg Matzik with you till 8 o'clock tonight. Man, what a win. What a crazy day of football in general as we hurtle toward the postseason. And the Packers are 7-3. Keeping pace here with the Lions and Vikings, who continue to rattle off victories in a very crowded NFC playoff picture and a very crowded NFC North. Gary, we always start with our 30,000-foot view. We invite you to be a part of our show as well here at 800-990-3776. It's 800-990-3776. Broad view, first of all. I was going to ask you, have you ever seen a game end on a blocked field goal? And the answer to that question is yes, because the Chiefs did it to the Denver Broncos just 2 weeks ago. But I cannot recall a time in my history of covering NFL football and watching NFL football that back-to-back weeks you've had a situation in which a blocked field goal won a game. This is uncommon as uncommon gets here in the world of the NFL, and the Packers found a way to do it.
Well, and I think if you're thinking about the NFL, they wanted to bring special teams back, right, and to the game, so to speak. And so you've had all these new rule changes that are out there. And I think, for example, I believe the Chicago Bears are putting in a request to the league as of today. I think Everflus is saying that maybe the Packers did something illegally on that field goal block. The center has to be uncovered, I thought, which he was, but you still can't have someone pushing another guy in over the center, which that's what I believe he's accusing the Green Bay Packers of. Nothing's going to happen. And even if the Packers did do that, the Chicago Bears would get a letter and they say, oh, sorry, we missed it. But the score is the score. Not going to take it back.
Well, you know what else they missed? They missed a cheap shot foul on Josh Jacobs running out of bounds. And an egregious call on Xavier McKinney. If you want to go down the path of submitting to the league, Packers might have some submissions as well.
I mean, everybody does, right? I mean, you can go through those things every year. But that just stands out in my mind from a Bears standpoint on that particular play that actually decided a game. And maybe those plays did as well. But I understand what you're saying. And all these teams do it all week long because there are always some complaints about something. So, but nothing's ever done. They just write you an apology letter and no wins or losses are taken away. So you just keep moving. I would say this, Greg, as I was sitting there watching this game, and to me it felt like Jordan Love was a little different in this game, and they got Josh Jacobs more involved into the game plan, which I've always asked for, but in a variety of ways. I thought they threw him more passes, and I don't know if they were check downs or if they were in the game plan. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he hit Josh Jacobs. He might have caught like 4 or 5 passes in that game, and it felt like it was part of the offense, but not part of the offense. It felt like Jordan Love kind of was a little bit more cautious in what he was doing early on, and I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with that, right? And I thought a lot of people, and I don't know if you were a lot of those people, but after he threw that interception, a lot of people were absolutely losing their mind. And I would say this, the interception that he threw were unlike 2 others that I'd like to talk about, is the Rams interception that he threw was absolutely, all interceptions are bad, but absolutely a bad interception where he's trying to make a play. The Lions interception that he threw was absolutely a bad interception. The interception he threw against Chicago, dude, step into the throw. Gather your feet. Do all the things fundamentally right. and then you make an easy pass to Tucker Kraft. So to me, those interceptions were different than most. Now, I will say this. I just think Jordan Love is going to throw picks. I'm resigned to that. I don't know if it's going to cost them or not, but I just think this is who he is. He's going to do that. And, case in point, he throws into double coverage on Christian Watson. And I think that's who he is. So I think you got to take the good with the bad with Jordan Love. After that, I don't know what do you know what his passer rating was at the end of the day? I forget what it was, but I still thought he managed and played a really, really good game. That's my 30,000 view.
Passer rating for Jordan Love yesterday was 80.8, and he certainly gets dinged for the interception.
Correct.
But to actually underscore your point, and we were going to get into this later in the 7 o'clock hour, but let's bring it to the top of the soup pile here, right? Shall we? I don't know what a soup pile is, but we're going to bring it to the top of the soup pile.
Sounds good.
I had a segment in the 7 o'clock hour titled, "Will the real Jordan Love please stand up?" ... Maybe he's already standing. Let's go backwards in time a little bit, shall we? Because now we have seen a season and a half out of Jordan Love as a starting quarterback in the NFL. First 9 games of last season was kind of all over the place, right? And the numbers indicate such. 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, completion percentage, 59.3. There were some wow throws. There were some headsy plays. But there was a lot of mistakes, okay? Second half of the season, MVP-like. 18 touchdowns, 1 pick, 70.25 completion percentage. And you're thinking, here we go. That's instant credibility to be an MVP candidate at the start of next year, which is where Jordan Love was at the start of the year. Not in that conversation anymore. Injuries have a say in that. Jordan Love's first 8 games this year, more reminiscent to the first 9 last year. 16 touchdowns, 11 picks, 62.3 completion percentage, and a lot of the same dudes running routes. So is this the real Jordan Love? Yes, wild throws. Yes, a bad throw. A guy you still feel, I think, pretty comfortable with, but he's still making a lot of mistakes. That bad throw, while it wasn't an egregious, I'm falling out of bounds, let me just do something, pick 6, it was still a bad throw in the red zone and a mistake you can't have happen against better teams. So is this the Jordan Love? He's a little more like first half of last season than second half of last season.
I disagree. I think he's playing better in this first half of the season than he did in the first half of last year. I don't know if the number bears it out, but just from what I see, he is playing way better than what he was last year. And I can't put my hand on it, but although he's been hurt a lot, and I think that has something to do with it. But I think overall, what you're getting at, I think this is who Jordan Love is. I think he's going to throw some picks, but I think these picks that he's throwing are correctable. And I think, like, you can understand, we're talking about the Rams interception, we're talking about the Lions. We can coach that up. We would be Matt LaFleur. Coach that up, right? You don't need to be making those throws, making those plays. The throw that he made against the Bears to Tucker Kraft, we can fix that. Hey, man, set your feet. Get your body right where you get your body to your target where you want to throw. That's coachable. But what's not coachable is something that's inside a dude is who he is. Meaning that the throw that he was throwing to Christian Watson, he meant to do that. There was no mistake. He wasn't throwing off his back foot, and all this other kind of stuff that we can make mechanical. No. He was throwing that ball into double coverage anyway. That was going to happen. That's who he is. So if he continues to do that, good things and bad things can happen. Now, I would say to you, Greg, do you want to curtail that and take that away from him? Do you want to take that away from him if that's who he is? And maybe you take away his edge if that's what you're trying to do.
So the first 9 games of last season, I rattled off the stats there, and the stats weren't great. I don't think he had that edge, right? I think it was such a dumbed down, let's just make sure he doesn't make mistakes, and it wasn't like, man, I have seen this dude rip a football, and he's not doing it. So what gives here?
Agreed.
Even though he had some good performances on the board, he played very well against the Bears. He had a great first 2 quarters, I think 3 quarters in that second game against Atlanta. Ultimately, that comeback fell a little bit short. But what I saw yesterday, the growth I saw out of Jordan Love, and the pick was a bad pick, right?
Yes.
Right read, bad throw, right?
Yes.
Right read, bad throw.
Perfect.
But there were a couple of opportunities he had where he was kind of moving out of bounds. He steps up in the pocket. He's looking. And instead of just flinging it, he runs out of bounds. 1 yard gain, 2 yard gain, live to fight another day. It's not a significant loss or a turnover. So those were the kind of plays I was applauding. Remember in the early days of Brett Favre?
I remember what you're going to do.
He'd fire one out of bounds, and he'd get a standing ovation at Lambeau Field
those games.
or
Yes.
County Stadium.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Everybody's saying, thank you, Brett. You finally did it. The famous clip of Mike Holmgren saying, no more rocket balls, okay? Just you fire one out of bounds. I'm cool with that because we at least maintain possession. I saw a little bit of that yesterday. Now, walk me through the Watson play because it's very easy to say Jordan Love lost his discipline on that play. Threw it into double coverage. Yes, there was a trailing cornerback and a deep safety. Is that I trust a 6'4" receiver who can high point the ball in that situation? Or is that, well, let's see what happens here, right? Because sometimes you curse those double coverage throws because you can have a disaster just as much as you can have a completion. But what's that needle that you got to thread if you're a quarterback and even a coach of when you see that, go get it. If you think you got a small, just go get it versus, no, it's not worth it.
So those plays are not coachable, I don't believe. He believes that Christian Watson is going to go get that ball for him. Or he believes that Christian Watson is better than those two cornerbacks that are guarding him. Go get it. I mean, we've had a lot of receivers that have been, now he's not Jerry Rice, I'm going to slow my roll, but we've had a lot of receivers, Devontae Adams, name a few, that have been double coverage, right? And they throw it to him anyway because they believe that they can catch those balls no matter where they put them. They will be Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love with Christian Watson. Jordan Love believes that Christian Watson can catch those balls if double covered, and he doesn't care. And that's confidence that he has in receiver. You can't do that with a lot of guys, but he believes Christian has the ability to make those catch and high point them. Now, I would say this. Christian Watson could not do that 2 years ago. I've seen Christian Watson now grow. I remember a couple years ago, if you would just hit his body, he had no body control, meaning that if he was up in the air and if a defensive back got into his body, bumped him, he would kind of like fall all over the place and he had no body control. You can see now Christian Watson growing into himself to be that receiver where he has body control, take the hit, and come down with the football. I've seen many a times where he could not make that play. Jordan Love sees him do this in practice, and he knows that he can go get it. Obviously, we think Romeo Doubs will be the other guy that can go down and bring those balls as well. But I think right now he feels like Watson is his guy.
Just 17 pass attempts for Jordan Love yesterday, and you think, well, they just must have run through Josh Jacobs. Well, no, the Packers only had 43 plays.
Right.
Well, they hardly had the ball yesterday, but Love 13 of 17. Some numbers that really stand out to me, and this, again, I think underscores your point, where he is more the Jordan Love we saw in the second half of last year than the first half. Back under center a little more yesterday, a sign that he's healthy. Had some runs and scrambles. Again, a sign to me that he's back to being healthy. 8 for 8, 185 yards when under pressure. 2 of 3 for 68 yards against the blitz. 6 of 6 for 182 yards and a touchdown on passes that traveled at least 10 yards downfield. Those solid numbers.
Yes.
Right? I mean, they had a solid day. The one pick stands out because points aren't up on the board at a time where they should.
Well, you should at least got a field goal.
Right, minimally.
Yeah.
Minimally. So I'm with you. We'll ask the same question to Jason Wilde. He's going to join us coming up on the other side. Another maybe a little more provocative question. I have it up on my Twitter feed. If you go to my X Twitter feed, @GMatzik, both of these guys have 1 year remaining, guaranteed rookie scale contract. Who is most likely to have their career continue in Green Bay after next season? Is it Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs? Got the poll question up. Check us out at ESPN Milwaukee. I have it on my personal page as well. Gary has weighed in. I will ask you to weigh in. We'll ask Jason the same question as we continue here. It's a victory edition of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Stay with us.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. On this show, it's always football season.
And that's your argument was that the coaches wanted him to return it.
Yeah, I think,
and he very clearly said no.
They wanted him to take it to the house.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Play the results, are we?
That's what coaches do sometimes, yeah.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Rake in a big win this November at Potawatomi. Go head-to-head in the Cash Clash game show for your share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. The Cash Clash game show at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
I hate to tell you this, but Bills quarterback Josh Allen lied to you. No. Not about feeling confident about beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's be honest, in the regular season, he's done it 4 out of 5 times. In the playoffs, where the problems present itself, he's 0 for 3 versus Kansas City, led by that number 15 guy known as Patrick Mahomes. But he lied after the game yesterday when they won against the Kansas City Chiefs. He said, it's just another game. Josh, baby, you know it's not another game, because you guys were not able to win in Buffalo again like you were not able to win in Buffalo in the playoffs last January. You know you'd have heard about that from Bills Mafia and everybody else out there who has not doubts about the football team, but a lot of doubts about you being a quarterback that can win a championship. Brother, you erased a lot of those doubts, in my opinion. Not with me. I knew you had it in you. But don't say yesterday that win over Kansas City was just another regular season game. It felt a lot bigger than that. Not just to Buffalo, not just to the team, but definitely to you. In 60 seconds, my prayers answered about these icons.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
We thought Inside the NBA and TNT was going to go away. After this season was over, we were never going to see Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal like that again. But thanks to common sense involving ESPN and Warner Brothers Discovery, that's going to continue. It's no longer going to be on TNT, which can bother some people, and it bothers me a little bit. But the fact that we're still going to get Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal still together, doing their thing like only they can do, involving the NBA, busting on each other, and being maybe the best pre-game, in-game, post-game show in the history of television. I'm saying that, in the history of sports television. Thankfully, after this season is over, they're not just going to go away like Disco and the Dinosaur. They're still going to be here. I prayed for this. I wanted this. And I know it's not the only one. So welcome to ESPN. And thank God Inside the NBA is still going to go on. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of Freddie and Harry.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
So tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't cry to the rhythm they cry for you.
A blocked 46-yard field goal saves the day for the Packers. They escaped Chicago with a 2019 victory over the Chicago Bears. Green Bay now 7-3 in a very crowded NFC playoff picture, very crowded division. They keep pace with the Lions and Vikings, who continue to win. Vikings are winning, sometimes ugly. The Lions are putting up half 100 on teams. Like, it's just whatever. They're just rolling over everybody, which almost makes their performance against the Packers seem like, oh, man, maybe the Packers played better there than we are giving them credit for against a very tough Detroit Lions team. Niners coming to Lambeau on Sunday. Time to check in with ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde. Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon every weekday. Wilde, greetings.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great. So, we want to make sense of what we saw yesterday. I want to start with you and the defense here because there are numbers that indicate the Packers had a rough day on defense, yet the final score would indicate they had a pretty good day on defense, allowing just 19 points. How do you make sense of the Packers' defensive performance yesterday? And maybe a better question, how do coaches digest what happened yesterday?
Yeah, look, they did not play well defensively, right? And while I think they realized some of what a new offensive coordinator in Thomas Brown replacing Shane Waldron was going to result in, which was their quarterback, Caleb Williams, getting the ball out of his hand more quickly, they clearly weren't ready for the designed runs and the, hey, you've gone through your first read, it's not there, take off and run, which is some of what Caleb Williams did yesterday. Look, they gave up 391 yards. They allowed the Bears to win the time of possession battle 37 minutes to 23 minutes. Matt LaFleur lamenting how few offensive possessions they had. Well, that's because you let the Bears have the ball for as much as they did because they couldn't get off the field on third down. 9 of 16 for the Bears on third down, and then 3 of the 7 that they did stop on third down, the Bears picked it up on fourth down, including the 3rd and 19 leading to the field goal attempt at the end. So, they really struggled defensively against a team that had gone 25 consecutive possessions without a touchdown before the touchdown by Johnson at the end of the first half, and had been 6 of 40 on third down in the previous 3 games. So, they allowed a team that was really struggling offensively to be productive. And I know today in the film session, there wasn't a whole lot of celebrating. There was a lot of criticism instead.
So then I guess that leads to me asking, Jason, should we be concerned a little bit more about this Packers defense? They're just littered all over the place with first-round draft picks, and you've got a new defensive coordinator. I don't know if it's the same as it was last year, but the results most certainly are not what they want them to be.
Yeah, I as you well know, Gary, it's a week-to-week league, and some games you just don't play well. And they clearly weren't ready for Caleb Williams running. He had 70 yards running, and they missed opportunities. Like, let's be honest, when the game was on the line, TJ Slayton gets a sack. Rashawn Gary comes off the milk carton and gets a sack. And then J.J. Enagbare has a chance for another sack on the 3rd and 19 play and doesn't get Caleb Williams down. Now, credit to Caleb Williams for escaping, but Enagbare's got to get him down to the ground there. And then it's like 4th and 26 or something, which we know is hard but not impossible to convert. So, look, the big picture, I don't think it's a catastrophic performance. But, you know this. Coaches love to coach off of wins, where they can be hard on their team because they won. And they don't – if you lose a tough game, coaches are a little reluctant to light into you too hard because they know you're disappointed. They know that you feel like you let the team down. But when you win, that's when you can be coached hard. And they get to be coached hard this week with a really big-time showdown. I don't care what happened against Seattle on Sunday. The 49ers are pointed in the right direction. And the team that has ended 3 of their last 5 seasons is coming to town. And the performance by that defense will not be good enough next Sunday, but it was just good enough yesterday.
Kind of quietly here, Jason, Josh Jacobs has eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark here total on the season, rushing and receiving combined, and done so, at this juncture of the season, 10 games in. That puts him in a pretty nice group of company of Packers players who have done that in history. Maybe not flashy, but certainly getting the job done and effective toughness, 20 touches a game. That seems to be commonplace here. Is Goody getting what he expected out of this, in effect, running back swap, Josh Jacobs for Aaron Jones?
He is. And look, Aaron Jones, I know he's dealt with some injuries which was one of the reasons why they made the swap. But, Josh Jacobs had a quadriceps injury he was playing through. He had the ankle injury a couple weeks ago that he was dealing with. But he is a durable guy. And he just, 134 yards yesterday, rushing and receiving combined. Like, that's what you want. You want him to be able to carry the offense. And what did Jordan Love throw? 17 passes all day. And I think Christian Watson caught 4. Jacobs, I think, caught 4. That's 8 of them right there. I think Romeo only had 1 catch. He had a drop, too. So, they really did not have very many offensive snaps. And Josh Jacobs was a vital part of roughly half of them.
No, and he was. And I like the fact that they threw the ball to him a little bit more out of the backfield, too, so which increases his touches and his workload. And I don't know if that was a product of check downs or was it scripted into the offense, but I like the way they were a little bit more creative with getting Josh the ball on Sunday.
I think some of it was check downs, right? Which, that sounds boring, but considering some of the questionable decisions Jordan Love had made in the previous games where he had check downs, he chose not to throw to them, and they ended up in either incompletions or turnovers. I thought that was important. I thought the biggest thing that came out of yesterday, and it's great that we can be critical of them, and they still won, and they still extended the winning streak to 11 games over the Bears. To me, the biggest thing that comes out of yesterday is Jordan Love looked like Jordan Love, right? I mean, yes, He threw another interception, and I get that, but that was a physical error, not a mental error, not a bad decision. He went to the right place with the ball. He just threw it too high. But he took checkdowns. He moved like we're accustomed to see him moving, which we had not seen him do really since the injury in Brazil. So I thought that was the biggest plus that came out of the game, was that Jordan Love looked like Jordan Love again. And he only threw 17 passes. He only had 1 touchdown pass. He still had an interception. But on balance, him looking like himself again, I thought was huge.
Showed some toughness running the football as well, which I don't know if Matt LaFleur loves that, but kind of lunging at the goal line, taking a pretty big hit. We've talked about that before, Jason, right? There's, it's on the line. You got to score. You got to get into the end zone. That's one side of it, and the other side of it is, look, we just got you healthy, dude. Can you make sure you don't put yourself in harm's way again?
Yeah, he and I have a fun relationship on that. Like, I admitted to him that I was a helicopter parent with the girls, and he basically accused me of being a helicopter beat writer because last year I got after him a few times saying, dude, look, you got to slide. It's dangerous out there. And I told him the story, which he didn't know because he was, in like high school at the time, or maybe even grade school. But in the 2010 season, Rodgers runs in Detroit and dives head first and gets a concussion. And that could have ruined their season, which ends up being a Super Bowl season. Like, if they miss the playoffs, and they did lose to New England the following week without him, but they still get into the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs, little did you know that it was a Super Bowl championship that was ruined by him taking an unnecessary risk. Now, let's give Jordan credit. He did certainly risk life and limb on that run to the pylon. And he emerged without getting hurt. But at least he lowered his non-throwing shoulder, right? We got to give him credit for that at least.
No, we do. And I would say this, in an attempt to be funny, this weekend game against the 49ers, I probably would dress Robert Saleh out in Packer issue gear, and I will have Matt LaFleur say, hey, Robert, just stand next to me as I call the plays, and we'll look over at Shanahan.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I don't know exactly what they're planning on getting out of Robert Saleh. He was obviously at practice all last week again. I don't know about you. Did you guys – I mean, I didn't go to Chicago. I didn't see him on the sideline, so I don't know if he's going to any games, but maybe this one he would. But, look, one of the things that I think is interesting, and And one of the reasons why I like the idea of having Robert Saleh on your staff is it's another guy who's been a head coach and a head coach in the NFL. Like I'm not downgrading the significance of Jeff Hafley being a college head coach. Head coaching is head coaching, but it's still different. But for example, I would be curious if you have Saleh at your disposal on a game day, does LaFleur bounce the idea of going for it on 4th and goal from the 6 when he could have taken the points and made it 19-17? Is that something that he would bounce off of Saleh? Because as the head coach, even as a defensive-minded head coach, he was the one making those decisions in New York, and I'd be curious if that's something that he even considers in terms of, you know what, would you go for this here? I mean, LaFleur, what I thought was interesting today, he did admit, I asked him about that, I said, with 24 hours now to think about it, would you do anything different on going for it on that 4th down and goal? And he said, he kind of said the same thing about how there had been limited possessions and whatever else. But then he said that he went to the analytics department today to ask them what the numbers said. And according to him, they told him that it was only a 2 to 3% difference between kicking the field goal and going for it. And it was in favor of going for it. So it was basically, as LaFleur put it, flipping a coin. And he chose to go for it. It obviously didn't work out. But the fact of the matter is that he said he doesn't really pay attention to the analytics anyway. He goes with his gut. And he literally said, I don't care about that, which I think is interesting in an era where so many coaches kind of live and die by what the numbers tell them.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a reckless decision at the time, looking at the amount of time left in the game, and he was talking about, limited number of possessions and plays. But I'm looking at the clock, Jason. There's still over 11 minutes left in the game. You are going to get the ball back. You will, I promise. And then you got to do something with it. To me, that felt you made up your mind, you went for it, you live with the result. That felt reckless to me.
Yeah, it felt emotional to me. Like he was pissed off at the way the game had gone, and he kind of let his emotions decide that. But again, your point is exactly right. Like there was 11 and a half minutes left in the game. Like even if your defense against this struggling offense, or at least had been struggling until you guys faced it, even if your defense doesn't get a stop until it's a field goal, you kick the field goal, you're down 2, they kick the field goal back at you, you're back down 5, you're right where you are when you failed, right? So there was no way that the Bears were going to chew up all 11 and a half minutes that were left in that game. There just was no way that was happening. And so I thought it was a mistake too, but he made the call and he had to live with it.
I know we talk all things Packers here, but I just have to ask you this one question that's not regarding the Green Bay Packers. You ready for this?
His Christmas decorations aren't up yet, Gary.
No, not that.
Well, they most definitely are, by the way.
Am I on his Christmas list? No, not that. Were you surprised at the news that came down yesterday that Phil Longo was let go?
Yeah, I guess I didn't expect the timing. We obviously saw the Bears get a bump from it, so maybe that's what Fickell's thinking. But again, they got a lot of problems, and obviously that was a mismatched marriage to begin with. Like it's not like those two had worked together and had history together, so it just felt like it never worked. So it kind of felt like not a surprise. I didn't love how he handled it today, basically telling reporters, "What does it matter who calls the plays?" Yeah. No, it matters. Otherwise, you wouldn't have fired the guy.
Right. I was surprised. 10/12 of the way during the season.
I love when Jason get that high pitch. yeah, it matters, buddy.
Jason, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. I think the Glockenspiel has to have the candles lit for it to move, so keep that in mind as you make your tour around the Christmas decorations at the house. Appreciate it, pal. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Yep, you too. You have a Glockenspiel at the house?
I don't even know what it is.
It's a little German wood thing. It's kind of a carousel. No. You like candles and the thing spins.
I got a Glock, though. Well, I don't know what it's spilled.
Very different. Yeah, very, very different. It's 6:34 here on 94.5 ESPN. On our way back, best electrifying play of the game. We'll dive into our Twitter poll question as well. We'll do it after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
The Green and Gold return home this Sunday to face San Francisco, and the Ticket King can get you there to experience this big matchup. With offices in Milwaukee and Green Bay, Ticket King is your local and most trusted source to buy Green Bay tickets. Get tickets to Sunday's game by visiting theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. Theticketking.com is your one-stop shop for great seats for Sunday's conference showdown. Theticketking.com, and make sure you follow Ticket King on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here from my friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making electrical panel upgrades, home electrical safety inspections, electrical vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta Restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
Giannis gets his first triple-double of the season on Saturday, scoring at will once again.
DeLon right the other way, hands to Giannis. Giannis gets into the corner. Andre Jackson around the Giannis screen in the paint. Lobs to Giannis, and Giannis guides it through. That was a great setup. I don't even think Giannis was quite ready for it. But it works, and the Bucks have a 4-point lead again.
But the stat line is wasted as the Hornets get a questionable foul call late, leading to a 115-114 Bucks loss, their 9th of the season. But they'll look to get back in the win column tonight against the Houston Rockets.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiance Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring for me, and then I personally worked with their team to pick out the perfect wedding band. Experience what I did at Robert Hack Diamonds. Stop in at their Brookfield or Greenfield location. While you're there, mention ESPN and spend at least $2,000 right now on any of their in-stock jewelry and get a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. It's a deal you can't pass up. If it wasn't for Robert Hack Diamonds and their team of jewelry experts, I wouldn't have trusted my fiance Ben to make the right call. View what they have in stores online at roberthackdiamonds.com and get free diamond stud earrings. All you have to do is mention ESPN at their Brookfield or Greenfield locations when purchasing at least $2,000 of in-stock jewelry. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this fall? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Can't take anything for granted. Here we go, 46 yards for the win. And it's blocked! Oh my goodness, the Packers block it, and they're gonna win!
Kevin Burkhardt with the call on Fox as the Packers escape Chicago with a 20-19 victory over the Bears. Blocked field goal as time expired allowed the Packers to ride home happily. Amazingly, that is not our best electrifying play of the game. This is...
It's time for the electrifying play of the game.
Intercepted. Quay Walker's got it. Walker's still going. Looking for the end zone. Quay Walker is in. Touchdown.
Presented by Best Electric Service.
Love on third down to the end zone. What a catch. Touchdown. Love to Dobb.
For over 50 years, no job has been too big or too small for Best Electric Service. Connect with the best and learn more at bestelect.com.
They come with a blitz. Love sees it over the middle. Watson diving catch. Gets up. He's not touched. He can run. And doing so inside the 30. Cuts back. Christian Watson leaping over people inside the 15. What a play from Christian Watson for 60 yards.
At a time when they needed it most, Jordan Love to Christian Watson for 60 yards, flipping the field, setting up the Packers' game-winning touchdown yesterday in Chicago. Just a marvelous play here. Greg Matzik, Gary Ellerson with you from Potawatomi Sportsbook, actually at Rockin' Brews today for our Football Monday. Let's dissect the play, and then we'll dive into the day for Christian Watson, kind of look at his season from a whole. Had the rules been the same on how to catch a football yesterday as it was when Des Bryant caught that ball in the playoff game against the Packers, but it was not ruled a catch ultimately, maybe the result of that play is a little bit different. But Christian Watson did a remarkable job getting away from an aggressive push at the line, eluding the defender, and absolutely laying out. The ball doesn't even move an inch once it's in his hands. And then has the presence of mind to get up and go. Incredible play. The play of the game on offense for the Packers.
No, it really was. And I think in today's game, right, did everything he was supposed to do. Kept his hand underneath the ball. Did it move a little bit? Yes, but he most certainly had control of the football, and I think that's all you got to have in today's game.
You know, you brought up an interesting point about Christian Watson earlier, that, you know, if he took a hit somewhere along the line as he was getting into his route or maybe as he was battling for the football, it seemed like he didn't win those opportunities.
True.
If you look at the broad view of that play, he gets jacked at the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Now, he gets a little push inside, and ultimately his route went to the inside before, you know, kind of splitting off toward the sidelines. But nonetheless, he took that contact. It didn't really slow him down all that much. The defender ended up on Watson's back, and he ends up stumbling, allowing Watson to have a little bit more space and then ultimate freedom after he gets up off the ground. Mm-hmm. So is that part of what you have to learn as a pass catcher in the NFL? You're going to get some shoves. You're going to get some nicks. You're going to get some bumps. Oh, yeah, you got pads on, by the way. But you have to fight through all of that because something's coming every play.
Yeah, he does. And I think I still think that will be a problem of his, and I think he's growing, though, Greg. And you have to learn how to – I mean, listen, he played at, was it North Dakota State or North Dakota or South Dakota State or South Dakota? One of those Dakotas. And probably – oftentimes than not, he was the biggest receiver out there and probably towered over all the defensive back that he played against and probably overpowered most of them. So he didn't really have that at that level. And now he's at a level where you're going to go against some cornerbacks that are strong, that are 6'1", 6'2", and then they're going to bump you a little bit more. They're going to ride you while you're running your route. Officials are not necessarily going to call it. And then you got to be able to fight through all those things and then be able to have the body control and the strength to go up and bring down those balls. And I said this earlier, in his career, he could not do that. And still, we saw some games earlier this year where he had problems where guys were just running him right out of bounds. And he cannot allow that to happen. He's got to be able to fight through all that. I still think there's a growing process with a lot of these guys on this team where you'll see them start getting better. Most certainly, I have noticed that out of Christian Watson. Now, he just got to be more consistent in doing that. Most certainly, Jordan Love believes in him because he sees him do it all the time in practice. So he just got to put all this stuff together. I just think his upside is so tremendous out of any of those receivers that they have on the team right
4
now.
Catches, 150 yards. That's a career high in yardage for Christian Watson. But the degree of difficulty and importance on each one of those catches seem to one-up the previous, right? I mean, you look at a 17-yard reception on a 3rd and 11. Love finds them. It's sort of a off-schedule play. Watson's coming back to the football in between defenders. A real laser from Jordan Love. Great pass, great play. 25-yard fade in the third quarter that set up a touchdown to Josh Jacobs. 48 yards with 2 surrounding defenders. Love kind of thrown off the back foot. All right, dude, go make a play. And he does it. And then the 60-yard reception, crazy diving catch, and has the presence of mind to get up and help set up a game-winning touchdown. These were not simple crossing routes where he was just sort of, schemed open. He's sort of fighting and working, scratching and clawing his way open to make his way to the ball to make those plays. That's what I really like because he took contact. He had some hard falls. He was able to get up and move on. I'm still always kind of crossing my fingers every time the dude goes to the turf that he gets back up and everything looks okay. Because for the first couple of years, it really hasn't been the case, right? So really encouraging. He blocks well. By all accounts, a really good teammate.
And we don't talk about that enough. His blocking is just unbelievable because he's a bigger receiver where he can get inside on some of those tight slots formation that they have and oftentimes takes on an outside linebacker.
So I want you to think about this question.
There's nothing to think about.
And I want to tee it up for our fans here to weigh in as well at 800-990-3776. 800-990-3776. I've got to post it on my Twitter feed as well. They both have 1 year left on their rookie scale contracts. If you're Goody, are you leaning more toward keeping Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs past the final year of their rookie scale contract? I want you to think about it. We'll weigh in after this. It's 800-990-3776. More after this on ESPN Wisconsin.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Even when you think you know what's going on,
well, old men hate cold water because of shrinkage.
You can never be too sure.
I like how you dropped
Is that what it is?
Like you were just...
Thought we were going to get
I'm right.
You're not wrong.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
I did not expect to wrap up today's little episode with the word shrinkage. So
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Wilde Automotive Group's Black Friday sales event is back. Now through November 30th, get up to $10,000 in rebates or up to 10% off or 0% financing. All with Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Our biggest savings, lowest rates, maximum trade values, and huge selection. Now through month end at every Ewald location.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
On select models with approved credit, all rebates and incentives to dealer. See dealer for details. Expires month end.
It's on to State for Catholic Memorial.
Mitchell takes it himself. He breaks off a few tackles, and MJ Mitchell is into the end zone to put Catholic Memorial up by 3 scores.
On Friday, the Crusaders take on undefeated Notre Dame for a chance at the Division III title. Crusaders football is presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, R&R Insurance, Home Sealed Exteriors, and D&M Accounting and Consulting Service. Kickoff happens at 10 a.m. Friday, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube page.
Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything for your next project. Countertops are the centerpiece of the home, with stylish options for every lifestyle and durability that will last for years to come. Transform everyday spaces into gathering places with custom craft countertops from Menards. Visit our kitchen showrooms in-store or go on menards.com and get a free design estimate today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for many other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Stupid stairs. Ugh.
Mike, I thought we were going to remodel and put our master bedroom on the first floor. We're getting old, you know.
I know I usually come up with some excuse to avoid home improvements, but I guess that would make sense. We do it for our own customers all the time, so maybe we should now too.
Whether you're making your empty nest more accessible or creating the house of your dreams, call Professional Construction Inc., your go-to contractor for 20 years.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away, and once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
I mean, it's one game. So I'm not worried about what's happened in the past. It's one game. You know, it's great to come away with a win when you don't feel like you necessarily played your best. But, you know, that's a competitive football team. The margin of error in this league is so minimal, and we see it. I mean, they're a Hail Mary away from being a 5-4 team. I mean, most teams in this league, it's a 500 league. You got to find a way to win some of these tight games like we did today.
Packers have found a way to do that recently.
Yeah.
You look at their last 3 wins by a combined 6 points. They had 2 walk-off wins via field goal and 1 walk-off win via field goal block.
Yeah, via.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just how tight the league is.
It is.
Best win of the season probably against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that is now, I don't know what to make of the NFC West.
I have
we'll
idea
dive
what's
into that a
going
little
on over
bit
there.
more, too. They look disinterested one week and like a playoff contending team the next week. So a deeper dive into that. All right, prior to the break, I teed this up. I've got it up on my Twitter feed as well, looking for your reaction. 800-990-3776 if you'd like to weigh in. Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs each have 1 more year guaranteed on the rookie scale contract. Packers will likely have to make a decision at some point this summer. You do the 5th-year option, bring them both back. That could certainly happen. But who is most likely to continue on in a Green Bay Packers uniform? If you're Goody and you're looking at these 2 wide receivers, understanding other players that are sort of in the mix, contributing members of the Packers wide receiving core, how do you tilt this? Who is most likely to extend their career in Green Bay beyond their rookie deal, Watson or Doubs? If you're Goody, what do you do?
Well, and you've already said it, but they're both going to be here, right?
You think they will be?
Yeah, I think they're both going to be here. And Christian Watson's going to make more money than Romeo Doubs.
So you pick up the option then for year number 5, but then after that.
Right. I still think Doubs is signed and still be here. Christian Watson, though, to answer your question, is the logical choice. I think he's more the upside. And now Romeo Doubs had a little dust up early on, but that comes with younger players. You kind of – but if you look at Watson, father played for the Packers, and he's got an older brother who's been in the league. So he comes from a family of people that have been in the NFL. So I think that helps him out greatly on how to navigate through all these things. So, and I think raw ability, he has the most upside out of all these guys that they have. Most certainly, Jaden Reed's a different kind of player. They're all different. Wicks, and we throw them all in there. They all have different skill sets. But I think, to me, Watson can be like all these guys that they have. Does that make sense? I think he can do what Jaden Reed does. I think he can do what Romeo Doubs does. I mean, he blocks well. So I think, to me, it's a no-brainer. You're going to see them give the contract, the big money to Watson.
I don't think Romeo Doubs will ever be a player that leads the opposition's scouting report on a given week.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
That used to be
And that's how
reserved
he
for
hurts
Aaron
you.
Rodgers
Yeah.
and Aaron Jones
Yeah.
and Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
right? One of those three names was always going to be at the top of a team scouting report. And toward the back end of his time in Green Bay, it was more often than not Aaron Jones and not Aaron Rodgers. Christian Watson is more likely to be at the top of a team scouting report.
Absolutely.
Because he has got that game-changing ability. He's a field-tilting player
He
at
is.
times. He's also showed pretty good hands in traffic after, I'd say, some hiccups in his first year and a half, maybe, in the league. He is a special talent. Romeo Doubs has been healthier. He had a drop yesterday, but I would not say drops are his biggest issue. We could talk about, what kind of a teammate he is, right, and what he's like in the locker room, quiet, soft-spoken. I think Christian Watson is all-team all the time. And I think the GM loves that.
Yes.
Absolutely loves that. Christian Watson's not going to be suspended for not showing up for work one day.
Correct.
And that factors into the calculus, I
'Cause
think,
he
as
gets
well.
it, yeah.
Quality of teammate along with quality of player.
Absolutely.
I think this tilts in the favor of Watson as well. We put it up on my Twitter feed, about 73% saying that Watson is more likely to be on the Packers roster beyond his rookie scale contract. But who leads the Packers scouting report? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're the San Francisco 49ers preparing for the Green Bay Packers this week,
Yeah.
what name is right at the top?
Jordan Love.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Josh Jacobs gets in there.
Then who's second?
Possibly Watson.
Then
But
who's-
Dobbs ain't on that list.
No. Who's second? Josh Jacobs. Who's third is probably Watson. Absolutely. And then fourth, Kraft. Or
Yeah, that's interesting. Because Kittle's probably near the top of the Packers scouting report.
Yeah, and basically,
if healthy,
Kraft and Watson could be interchangeable. Depends on what they are doing with them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I would say Kraft will be fourth.
I want to dive through the snap counts a little bit yesterday because it is so difficult to get a read on everything the Packers did because they just didn't have a lot of plays. Yeah, Tucker Kraft was targeted once, but it ended up being a pick. Played all but 3 snaps, didn't have a catch. Right?
And that happens because I think
Jordan Love threw 17 times,
well, they didn't
right?
They didn't put time of possession, number of plays. They just didn't have it.
Romeo Doubs led the way. He played 36 snaps yesterday. Christian Watson played 31. Jaden Reed played 26. Just 16 for Dontavian Wicks. He's starting to slide a little bit. I think the drops are catching up with his playing time a little. Bo Melton and Malik Heath each had 5. To be honest with you, I don't remember seeing Malik Heath on the field.
I don't either.
That's just me. Coming up in hour number 2, we're going to take a deeper dive into the Packers' defense. We'll also look into the 49ers.
Let's do that.
We'll do our 30,000-foot view of what we saw yesterday at Soldier Field.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here from my friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making electrical panel upgrades, home electrical safety inspections, electrical vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're looking for a truly unique luxury SUV, look no further than the new Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha.
The new Range Rover Sport SUV provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology and connectivity you want, plus the most luxurious ride.
And now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 48 months on a new 2024 Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
The Green and Gold return home this Sunday to face San Francisco, and the Ticket King can get you there to experience this big matchup. With offices in Milwaukee and Green Bay, Ticket King is your local and most trusted source to buy Green Bay tickets. Get tickets to Sunday's game by visiting theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. Theticketking.com is your one-stop shop for great seats for Sunday's conference showdown. Theticketking.com. And make sure you follow Ticket King on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. The game is over.
Jacobs up the middle and in. Touchdown, Green Bay.
And it's the day after.
It's a quarterback sneak. Jordan Love being shoved in, and he's in. Touchdown, Green Bay, and they're back in front.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
And it's blocked. Oh, my goodness, the Packers block it, and they're going to win.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Told our guys we'll never, ever apologize for winning, and we'll take it, and we're going to learn from this. And, you know, we got a big battle next week.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios, here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of the program here. We'd love to hear from you at 800-990-3776. Come join us at the Sportsbook.
Yeah,
Each and every Monday here. We like it. We like it down at Potawatomi.
Love it.
Treat us nice.
Oh, man.
Great food, great people. Really enjoying our time.
Yes.
Monday Night Football tonight features the Dallas Cowboys, led by Cooper Rush, and the Houston Texans. I was looking ahead to the Thanksgiving schedule because the Packers play on Thanksgiving.
Right. I'll be there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you. No smoked turkey on the Traeger this year for Gary.
Why'd you have to do that to me?
It's delicious, isn't it? I'll FedEx you a piece. Yes. You know I'll FedEx food.
Yes, that's what I did last year. Smoked turkey on the Traeger.
It's good, isn't it?
So good. I did prime rib and smoked turkey last year.
Oh, that's right. You did both. Yeah. You had the doubleheader.
Fine.
That's veteran. That's a veteran move right there.
Fine.
I was looking at the Thanksgiving schedule.
Yeah.
And noted that the Dallas Cowboys play every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they do.
They're taking
along with the Lions. I believe so.
They're going to play the Giants. Dallas Cowboys are going to play the Giants.
It's a nothing game.
So this is what has happened here now. The scheduling gods of the NFL are going to be treated to Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito as your starting quarterback.
Now they love Tommy DeVito.
Well, I get that, but this game's going to be in Dallas, not New York. Daniel Jones now the third-string quarterback, which means they're going to try and find a way to can his contract or eat some money or something.
Yeah. They made a colossal mistake there, the Giants.
And Mike McCarthy will survive this season, but as soon as the season is over, he will be let go of his duties.
Yeah, he will.
He's not lasting.
I think this is Mike McCarthy's last head coaching job.
So here's what I'm saying. Get the football out. Cowboys come on. Get outside, throw the ball a little bit. After that, mid-morning snack while you're watching games.
Yeah.
Get outside, have some fun. Have a little turkey bowl out in the yard.
Are you still playing the turkey bowl out there in Brookfield?
Not official. I did one for a number of years.
Yeah.
Now it's just playing out with my nieces and nephews and running around and having some fun.
I did one about 10, 15 years ago. I think I did my last turkey bowl.
Okay.
And had to go in for knee surgery.
As a result?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything weird. Just old. I mean, just bone on bone. So I had to go in for knee surgery probably a week later, and then that was the last time. Then ultimately, that same knee, I had to get a knee replacement like 5 years ago, so it was just all done. So I haven't done turkey bowl, and I miss playing in the turkey bowl. That's something that I always enjoy doing.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. You don't have to worry about blocking Lawrence Taylor in the turkey bowl.
No.
I think you do very well out there.
No.
I want to take a deeper dive into the Packers and where they are at 7-3.
Right.
I've heard all the phrases in the NFL. You are what your record says you are, right? Okay,
correct.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cute when coaches say that. Great. I always say that you win a game by 1, you win a game by 30.
Right.
Hey, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to ignore what the Lions are doing as a team that's 2 games ahead of the Packers in first place, and where the Packers are. In comfortable playoff position, albeit in third place in the NFC North.
Right.
The Lions look like they're on a different planet right now than most teams in the NFL. They can score 40 or 50 and just sick it on you. Well, Greg, they played a bad team yesterday.
Right.
I get it. I get it. But they still whitewashed an NFL football team. Where are the Packers in your mind? At 7-3, are they about where you thought they'd be record-wise, but maybe still not passing the eye test in terms of true contenders? Are they ascending? 7-3, but still haven't played their best ball. I think it's coming. Like, how do you look at this?
Because they're still the youngest team in the NFL. They're still ascending, and we're seeing the growth, and we're seeing all the boneheaded mistakes that they make. Your starting quarterback now, has started 25, 26 games in his pro career, only his second year as a starter, was hurt better part of the first half of the season. Ascending. You see some of the young players that are making strides. Christian Watson will be one of those players on the offense. And you're getting some consistent play out of, well, not some, but a lot of consistent play out of Josh Jacobs, who's also very young, but you brought him in to replace a guy, and I think that's kind of worked out okay for them. I think it's a team that is ascending, but can they ascend enough to catch the Detroit Lions?
Well,
they're the cream of the crop.
We asked a similar question last year about this time. Well, the Packers were starting to put it together a little bit. It's like, well, wait a minute now. They're starting to move
the Lions
in the right
on
directions.
a different plane right now.
Did you think the Packers would get to where they got a year ago? You know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, now we're starting to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I did, but the 49ers and the Cowboys, to me, were beatable. The Lions don't look beatable right now. It doesn't feel like the Packers can catch them unless something drastically happened to them. They by far right now, and it's a week-to-week league, okay? But just from the 30,000 view that I'm looking at right now, it looks like the Lions are the class of the NFL, period. And I feel like the Packers are probably, if we were to do a top 5, they may be in your top 6 or 7 with everything fluctuating. I mean, listen, everybody was talking about the Ravens like 3 weeks ago. Now everybody's talking about the Steelers. I mean, that's how crazy it's been. Everybody was talking about the Chiefs, how great they were. Now people are talking about the Bills. Now I know this is the AFC.
Here come the Eagles, by the way.
But now all of a sudden you look at the NFC, the Eagles now are making some noise. But you still feel like the Eagles are not where the Lions are.
Sure.
So in the AFC, I think there's more teams that can be beat. You don't have that clear-cut favorite team in the AFC. But in the NFC, it's the Lions and everybody else, 2 through 6, are jockeying for position.
I have not looked at the spread. Here we are at Potawatomi Sportsbook. I have not looked at the early line here on Packers and 49ers. And we'll dive deeper into the 49ers coming up. But this is a last-place team, by the way. If the playoffs started today, the Niners would not be in it.
Right.
They would be last-place finishers in the NFC West. I get it. It's tied for last place.
Right.
But still, it's not been the season that they expected in San Francisco. I am with you. The Packers are a playoff caliber team. And they were so blistering red hot going into the postseason last year that I don't think anybody in Dallas wanted to see it.
No.
San Francisco, it's like they had to look at the Packers a little different than their stepbrothers from years past. Right? It's like, wait a minute now. This is starting to look real. And I think the win over Detroit on Thanksgiving really vaulted the Packers into that. Okay, now you got to take a look at what they're doing because it's getting impressive.
Right.
I still think they need that kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a signature win, but kind of a big boy football win.
Well,
right? And,
the signature win will be Sunday.
I still think it qualifies.
Yeah, it will.
Even though the Niners are a last-place team.
Because you haven't beaten them.
Yeah.
They've had your number. I mean, I still feel – I see Kaepernick running down the field, and I still feel like we're still chasing Kaepernick running down the field. And they've just had our number, and we haven't been able to knock them out. So, to me, if they can get them, it will be a signature win for the Green Bay Packers.
I believe you're right in that. And
Eric Walden is still chasing Kaepernick.
Oh gosh, somebody's got to catch Rasheem Mostert too.
Mostert, there's another one.
Who's line up?
Another one.
Line up. Who
there's
else
another one.
I'm sure Debo did something.
Mostert? He ran for about 200 on us in like 5 carries.
Yeah,
wasn't
probably. Yeah, Jerry Rice fumbled too.
There's another one.
Yeah, don't bring it up, right? It's
that's real old. Though.
That's
real old.
Chris Jackie beat the Niners on a long field goal. Monday night, regular season.
Yeah, and there's Terrell Owens.
1996.
He caught it.
The Niners are still a team that you have to respect because of what you just mentioned. Totally agree. And they could find their way in the most bizarre division here in the NFL.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yes.
you'll have another chance for a quality win over Miami on Thanksgiving.
Right.
You still have to face Minnesota. You still have to face Detroit. There will be plenty of opportunities for the Packers to pull off, maybe pull off is not the right word, to earn a win that it maybe feels a little more believable than some of their other wins so far this season.
Correct.
And if they don't win those games, you probably don't belong in the postseason.
Exactly. And so you got them all coming here down the stretch. They've got this second half of the year, they've got a challenging schedule. And we're going to find out what they are all about here, starting with the 49ers.
Going to break a little early here as I try and regain my voice after a weekend in Madison. Well, I had a lot of fun.
Oh, you in Madison this weekend?
Oh, yeah, I was.
You
had a good
tell
time.
me that.
Had a really nice time.
Did you?
It was wonderful. Great ESPN Madison tailgate off Regent Street.
Didn't know that.
Which was wonderful to be at. Nice November day and night for football.
Did you go to the game?
No.
Okay.
We leveraged those dollars at Wando's. Which is kind of like the library.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
We had a nice time.
Good.
But lost a little bit of my voice.
That's okay.
So I'll try and piece it back together here in our break.
Let's do that.
When we come back, a dive into the Packers' defense.
Let's dive.
Collectively, as a whole, and utilizing what we saw from yesterday's game in our overall discussion. Packers have never won a Super Bowl without a top 5 defense.
No.
Can they get there this year? We'll look at it after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Panther Arena is the place to be this weekend as Milwaukee men's basketball hosts the Cream City Challenge presented by Cream City Mortgage. The action gets underway on Friday at 7 as the Panthers take on Portland State. Saturday's matchup for Milwaukee is a 3 p.m. game versus Wofford, plus a Sunday matinee against St. Thomas with tip-off at 1:30. Each day features 2 basketball games for one price. Lock in your seats now for the Cream City Challenge this weekend at Panther Arena. Help tilt the floor. Visit MKEPanthers.com to select your seat. Panther Athletics for the MKE.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to join in on the fun with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and Cola, refreshing Bacardi Lime and Soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Coca-Cola. Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
We got to be better. And just after watching the tape with the guys, I would say we're all in agreement of that. There was opportunities to get off the grass, and we didn't, for one reason or another, we didn't make the plays.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur on the Packers defense yesterday. You know, total point production, you look at it and say, all right, you held the team under 20 points in the NFL. That should be enough to win a football game.
Exactly.
And it was.
Yeah.
And by and large, Gary, point production against the Packers defense has been fine. I would say fine. It's been 21.5. And, you know, historically over the last several years, it's kind of been in a similar position. That low 20s mark, and you always felt like you had an offense that could outdo what you're giving up, and that's how the Packers have become a playoff team. I'm not mad at 19 points. But, boy, not all 19-point performances are created equal, are they?
No, Greg, it just feels like there's something missing with this defense. Now, early on, they were getting turnovers with Xavier McKinney. They were getting some fumbles. So they're not getting that anymore, guys. They're not throwing the ball deep down the middle anymore. They're afraid of McKinney. Everything is underneath in front of him, rightly so. But it just feels like the pass rush wasn't there. And to me, I think the game – and to me, this is just me. I'm outside looking at 30,000 view I'm giving you because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
It just felt like to me – that the game plan of the Bears caught Jeff Hafley off guard. Because I felt like when they played against Jalen Hurts, it felt like to me they did more of a contain kind of rush on Jalen Hurts because they knew he could run the football. In this game, it felt like contain be damned. He could get out and run anywhere he wanted. There was no containment at all. And I think Caleb Williams was allowed to stay on the field a lot longer than he should have because of not necessarily throwing the football, but because of his feet. And I think that caught him off guard a little bit, and that's why they had the ball. I think time possession, they may have won time possession.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and so that's why that happened. I just think that the game plan caught Jeff Hafley off guard, and they could never really get in sync.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you're right. Okay, so we knew the Bears' offense was going to look a little different because they had a new person running the offense and calling the plays. They fired their offensive coordinator leading up to the game on Sunday. So what did that mean? And I was reading stuff out of Chicago all week. We're going to try and make it easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that means one read, maybe two reads. If it's not there, just go.
Right.
You can use your legs. You know, kind of maybe not the way Lamar Jackson does, but maybe a little more than Jordan Love does. Like, you're young. You can use your legs. That is a weapon. We can put that to work, and it can help us. Caleb Williams was only averaging a little over 25 yards a game rushing going into yesterday's game against the Packers. So you can understand why they wouldn't be all keyed up on Caleb running.
Exactly.
But let me ask you this. At what point do you have to make that adjustment? Right? And he was doing it in the first half.
Never did.
And that's something I wouldn't say has been an Achilles heel of Jeff Hafley's defenses. Well, they never make adjustments. I don't know that I'd look at the season and say that, but clearly yesterday was a reason you can make that argument that he didn't.
The containment, they never did. But you saw when they had to throw the football, right? In that fourth quarter, we got 2 sacks. Now, we still let them out. But when they were forced to really pass the ball and he had to hold on to the football, we get 2 sacks.
Yes. Obvious passing situation.
Yes.
where he's not as likely to run.
Yeah,
other than that situation.
Other than that, quick passing and he's gone.
There were enough passes at or near the line of scrimmage in yesterday's game to fill a season for us, it felt like.
Yeah.
So credit to the Bears offense for doing something a little different and getting more out of their number one overall pick at quarterback.
Correct.
The Bears offense was really efficient yesterday. Their point production wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
At all. In fact, it doesn't really marry the production that they had. 179 yards on the ground, 33 minutes time of possession, didn't turn the ball over at all, 3 of 3 on fourth down, 9 conversions on third down. Boy, all of that speaks to a win and somewhere in the neighborhood of, 23 to 30 points.
It does.
That was not the case yesterday, which is maybe an indictment on how the Bears operate.
Well, I mean, they were not a good football team coming in, right? I mean, we knew that. And I guess it speaks volumes to maybe the Packers' defense that they were able to keep them out of the end zone as well as they did. It was almost like a bend but don't break kind of defense yesterday. And I don't know if I want to get into that with the Packers. I just think the Packers defensively, they've got to figure out how to make more plays with their front four. And they're not getting home right now, making enough plays just with the front four. And I thought that's why we went to this 4-3 scheme.
Okay,
they're just not there.
Interesting point. So they're not getting enough pressure from their front four. Obvious passing situations maybe, but we only saw that late in yesterday's game.
Right.
So let me ask you this. You love to have more bodies in that second and third level.
Right.
If you can get home with your front four, it allows you to play a more aggressive style defense in your middle and secondary levels. If you have to poach from your secondary or inside linebacking core or something to throw an additional body or two at the line, it seems like Jeff doesn't want to do that so much. He likes those bodies in the second and third level. And now if teams aren't going deep, maybe the field is compressed a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? If you're not getting home with 4, how do you find a way to get home?
Well, you got to blitz. And they did a little bit. They brought Quay Walker a lot. They changed it up. But it just you're looking for something. You're looking for this almost this physical style of defense that you're not getting, right? And maybe it's personnel. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like there's just something they're missing with this defense, stopping them from becoming like that dominant defense that you like to see.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here. 800-990-3776. Looks like the Texans have taken a quick 7-0 lead over the Cowboys on a long run from Joe Mixon. So this is about the end of the line here for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be.
It should be.
Wanted to ask you about Matt LaFleur's decision-making in yesterday's game. There were a couple of moments in yesterday's game where I kind of put my hands in my head and said, what are you doing here? We talked about it a little bit with Jason Wilde. But early in the fourth quarter, you got a 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. He decides to go for it. You're down 19-14. It's about 11 minutes left in the game. When you're watching that all play out, are you thinking, I like it, aggressive play calling, you get on top, you're a better team than the Bears, you can score here, this is what you do to turn the tides in your favor? Or are you thinking, dude, it's a road game. Why not shrink the deficit here, get your points, rely on you're going to get the ball back. There's 11 minutes left in the game. Just take it and go down, score again, and win the game. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to not only get a touchdown, but don't put so much pressure on your defense to allow only a field goal in what could potentially end up being a loss, which is what we almost saw yesterday. That play, how do you boil that down if you're Coach Gary?
Well, I understood it, and here's why I understood it. And I don't know how many plays they had in the first half, but it felt like they hardly even had the ball.
3 drives. 3 drives of substance.
Yeah, it was non-existent. And it felt like because Chicago got the ball coming out of halftime, and they drove the ball all the way down the field. So possessions were at a premium. And it did feel like they were never going to get it back. So I was okay with going forward at that point. And then, though, you're hoping your defense, if it were going to happen, they drive the length of the field and make a punt, and you still had them backed up and you still had half the field to work with. I was okay with the call. I could have went either way, 17, 19. I could have went either way with it, but I understood what was happening because the game was trending not in the way that you would thought it would be from a defensive standpoint. We couldn't stop him, Greg. I mean, it felt like they were going to eat up the whole clock and that you were never going to get an opportunity to get it back.
So to me, even more reason to take the points, right? So if it's 19-17, 11 minutes left, maybe you do hold them to a field goal, right? Fine, right? Then it's 22-17, touchdown gets you a win. If it's 22-14, now you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to get that game back to square.
Right.
And maybe force overtime. Jason used a better word than I did when we talked to Wilde. I said reckless. He called it emotional. And I think that's a more accurate term. It seemed like an emotional decision. We're the leaders of the pack here in this division. We're the one who has won 10 in a row. We're trying to catch the Lions. This is something the Lions would probably do under Dan Campbell. We're going to do it. We can be the better team here. Let's get on top. Let's shut this crowd up. It felt a little emotional to me.
Well, it shows a sign, obviously, too, of frustration as well.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind. The Packers entered yesterday's game ranked 29th in red zone offense in terms of scoring touchdowns. The Bears have the number one red zone defense. So not only are you talking about a compressed window, and, oh, by the way, it's 4th and 6, so you ain't running the ball.
No.
Your playbook is cut in
It's
half,
tight.
okay?
Yeah.
Against the best red zone defense in the NFL, when you have one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL. Take your points and live to fight another day. You'll get the ball back.
Yeah, and I think each situation is different. I mean, I can't argue with you, debate with you on that. I mean, I understand it. But I think sometimes you make a decision, an in-game decision, on the flow of the game. And I understood the flow of the game. And where it felt like possessions were at a premium and you had to score then.
Packers did end up getting into the end zone on their next drive, and then an opportunity to go for two and make it a 22-19 game.
Didn't do it.
I wanted to ask you about that play, too. We got a couple minutes left in this segment. A lot of people blow up my Twitter feed saying, I hated that call. Hated the call. Why you're running. Tom Brady even said, I don't know why you don't do a little RPO there. Seemed to make sense. Give the quarterback an option if he wants to roll out, maybe drag a receiver. They just say it was straight line up and run.
Right.
I was more frustrated with the execution of that play because as a running back, right, you're used to looking at what? A lineman's backside, right? You're staring at the butts of the offensive line in front of you. I don't think you ever want to see the face mask on an offensive line as you're approaching the goal line, do you? Because that's what happened on that play.
Yeah, they stuffed it.
It was poorly executed.
Yeah, they stuffed it. They stuffed that play. And they get paid, too. Now, you could have ran a different play, obviously. There were a couple calls, I think, that you could have go back, and I think Matt LaFleur probably wishes he would have had back. And most certainly, I think that would be one of them. And normally you have, on a two-point conversion like that, normally you have a special play. And I don't think that was one of those special plays.
It didn't seem like it.
It was just a play.
Left me wanting more.
Yeah.
More butts.
Yeah.
Less face masks, right?
Absolutely.
That's our slogan for the night.
I like that.
Coming up on the other side, the production of first-round draft picks seems to be lacking in Green Bay. Is this a big issue, or does the support from non-first-round picks help buoy the roster? We'll also look ahead to the 49ers, get Gary's top 5 in the NFL. Hang with us. We continue after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything to update your home. Easily create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry. With so many styles to choose from, you'll be sure to find plenty of options that you will love. Start your project today and save big on Clearview Cabinetry. Visit Menards.com to view our entire selection of Clearview cabinets today. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for many other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Heck diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free, as long as you mention ESPN. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Are you tired of fumbling through hundreds of feet of holiday lights just to find out they burn out last season? Let Landworks handle the holiday decorating for you this year so you can focus on what really matters. From festive holiday arrangements to dazzling light displays, their expert designers will work with you to build a display that fits your style and budget. Make your home or business the talk of the neighborhood this year with holiday decorating from Landworks. Visit landworkswisconsin.com.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? A succession plan that benefits business owners and employees. Full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Winter weather is on the way, and that means salt, snow, and grime on your car. ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman here. Now's the time to protect your vehicle with a premium wash at Tsunami Express Car Wash. State-of-the-art technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Keep your car looking spotless all season long. Tsunami Express has 5 convenient locations all across greater Milwaukee, making it easy to give your ride the care it deserves. Sign up for a membership at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg and Gary with you. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Monday Night Football crowd settling in here at Potawatomi's Rockin' Brews. We'll be back at the Sportsbook next week. My friend Gary got a nugget about Best Electric.
Yeah, I want to talk about good friends over at Best Electric Service. Guys, they are a A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work right now. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Again, Best Electric Williams going to be sacked again. It's Rashawn Gary. Back-to-back sacks for this Packers D at the most critical time.
Yeah, the Best Electric folks are out of my house about a week ago. So
that's good. They do make home calls.
I say, hey, my guy Gary says you guys are the best in the business.
Yeah.
And they said, well, yes, we are.
They are. Mm-hmm.
Came over, did a little work.
Yes.
Did good work.
They'll do that.
Beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
Best Electric.
Yes.
Best in the business.
Best in the business.
Top flight draft picks are supposed to be among the best in the business. Every team is weighted with first-round picks. When a first-round pick is drafted as a first-rounder, what's the GM thinking? Special player at some point?
Yeah.
Special skills? There's something about that dude that's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that kind of what separates a lot of first-rounders?
Normally,
late-rounders?
yes. Normally, yes.
So if we think about the recent collection of first-round picks on the Packers roster, there's likely to be a common theme here. Let's go through a few, shall we?
Sure.
Rashawn Gary, Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Eric Stokes, Lucas Van Ness, Jordan Morgan, the most recent example, and now he's injured, Jair Alexander. Those are the ones. Kenny Clark, we'll add him to the mix. First-round draft picks I can think of who are currently rostered by the Green Bay Packers, the 2024 version of the Green Bay Packers. Is there a common thread among that crew?
And I think what you have to do, Greg, is temper that by where they were selected. And it's tough drafting in the 20s and hitting on a guy that's going to be all-world. Now, they probably have done their best work in the third or fourth round, maybe. I think maybe the fourth round, maybe not the third. But you like to see more production than what you're getting out of these guys that you're getting. Van Ness, okay, I'm going to put him over there. Not yet. I'm not ready to lump him in there. Quay Walker, I'm not ready to put him in there quite yet either. But most certainly, I think Gary has had enough time to see a body of work. But now you got him in a new defense. How does that affect him? Before he hurt that knee, he looked really, really good. I mean, he looked like he was an ascending player. And now all of a sudden, we don't even see him in the game anymore. Now he got a sack yesterday, but for the most part, you don't see him. Eric Stokes, I saw him play at Georgia. Man, he was lights out at Georgia. Was Bullard a first-round pick out of Georgia?
No.
He was not. But Stokes was absolutely lights out at Georgia, and he's not even
4 snaps yesterday.
He's nowhere near.
He played 4 snaps on a day that Jair Alexander could not finish a game.
Yeah, I mean he can't. I mean right now, Valentine and Valentine are in front of him. You can't get in front of those guys. So most certainly he has not panned out to what you thought he would be.
The common theme here is, if I were going to apply a word to this collection of picks, it would be frustrating.
He's missed.
It's just frustrating because, Alexander, it's been he was a very peculiar year last year when he appointed himself captain, and it was just kind of a crazy. Yeah. And I don't think he and Joe Barry ever saw eye to eye. But you know what? You got to be a pro and you got to play.
Right.
And an engaged and interested and healthy Jair Alexander is a game changer.
Yeah.
He can be.
Yeah.
Because we know he doesn't lack for confidence.
No.
I think he's got more of that back this year.
It feels like it.
Now he's battling health.
But he's hurt.
Right? Rashawn Gary gets an incredible sack. Just overpowers an offensive lineman yesterday in the fourth quarter when the Bears absolutely need to put a drive together.
Right.
He absolutely destroys an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. But where is that on a consistent basis, right? Like, where's the need for an offensive line to chip and double team?
Mm-hmm.
But he flat out bull rushed a dude and walked him right back into Caleb Williams' lap, right? So there's the flash.
Mm-hmm.
It's not lack of effort with Rashawn. I don't think it ever has been.
No.
Lucas Van Ness, his snaps are starting to dwindle a little bit. Had a frustrating penalty yesterday. Eric Stokes down to 4 snaps. That looks like a dude who has not recovered his greatest asset of speed. Right? After his mega injury.
Yep.
It's not savvy that keeps him as a first-round pick, right? It's speed.
You drafted him because he was a 4'2" guy and he was like 6 feet tall.
I love Kenny Clark. He's been a great pro. His best days are gone. They are behind him. They just are. He is one of – they are no different on that interior of the offensive line. T.J. Slayton to Kenny Clark, Wyatt – just name them, right? They all are kind of the same to me.
So Wyatt, I wouldn't put in that group just yet. I'm taking out Wyatt. I'm taking out Van Ness, and I'm taking out Quay Walker.
I don't think the Packers brass would take them out of that equation.
I'm taking them out. I'm taking those 3 out of
Maybe
the
more patience with Lucas Van Ness, but I think that patience train is getting
because I think Wyatt this year has shown flashes. of what he can become.
He has been probably the best out of the group that I mentioned. Yeah. And I know he's battled a little bit of health issue. It's not been an issue, but I think primarily in his career.
Right.
But let me ask you this. From a locker room dynamic, and maybe losing would bring this about more, but is there any dissension when the dude who's getting all the money is being outperformed by the dudes who aren't getting all the money?
No, because they know everybody's at some point is going to get paid. So there's no animosity at all in that locker room. Money never comes into it. You want the next guy to make the money so you can be in line to make the next money. I mean, that's just the way it works. So there's no animosity at all about what guys are making. It's better for the team if guys in front of you are making that kind of money so eventually you can get that contract too.
See, now here's a part of it with Rashawn, and I don't know if you've got an example from when you played. Was there a dude who got paid and was just like, I never showed up again? He got paid and that was it. There have been examples.
Well, that happens a lot,
in
though.
The Packers uniform.
That happens a lot in the NFL. That happens in the NBA.
But would you say that's happening with Rashawn Gary? Like, I don't look at it that way.
But here's the problem with Rashawn Gary. If you put the tape on and you watch him, he's not loafing, Greg.
He's not.
Which
is more frustrating.
And the guy's in great shape, so he's not lazy. So he's not coming into camp out of shape, right? That's not happening. You turn the film on, he's giving you 150% all the time. So but the production doesn't meet all that. What we just talked about.
It doesn't meet the effort and athleticism in that man.
It doesn't. So when you have a hard worker, you know a guy works hard in the offseason, comes in, he gives you the effort, there's nothing you can say about that.
Joe Johnson and Cledius Hunt come to mind.
Well, I mean, those guys were different.
They got paid, and they said, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
I'll show up when I want. Whatever.
Yeah,
Give me my money.
Yeah.
And that's all that mattered at that point.
Yeah. And I don't think you feel that way with Kenny Clark either, though.
No, I don't. I love Kenny. I really do.
You don't feel that way with him like that, but the production you're not getting what you want. And I don't know defensively what these guys – what are their functions within that defensive concept, which we don't know either.
I'm just looking
you're just looking at sacks and making plays.
No,
and you're not seeing it on a regular basis.
I'm just looking for somebody to say Kenny Clark's
name. But the
defense
defense as a whole, Greg, I say as a whole, to me, is underachieving from the picks that they have. No
definitely
doubt
is.
about it.
Let me run through a couple numbers here real quick on the Packers defense, where things stand. Well, I'm a data guy, right?
Okay.
I'm a data guy. I like to support conversation with data.
Okay.
Packers rank against the rush this year is 14th.
Okay.
Packers rank against the pass is 13th. Mm-hmm. I actually would have thought, without looking, the Packers would have been closer to 20 against the rush.
Yeah.
Just feels like dudes are having big games, and Christian McCaffrey is up next. Points per game allowed is 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Respectable.
That is respectable.
21.3. I feel confident in the Packers' opportunity to score more than 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
That number's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Takeaways, 4th.
Mm-hmm. 19
takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, quarterback's giving it back a little bit.
Yeah.
So they end up top 10 in overall plus minus.
Right.
But number 4 in takeaways. Sacks, tied for 15th. Maybe a little higher than he would have thought. 25 sacks for the Packers this season. So all of those numbers point to an okay and average defense.
Right.
And I just don't think historically okay and average for the Packers defense is enough to win a Super Bowl.
Well, it is now. In these days it is. I think you got to if you're in the top 15, I think that's where you got to be. You can get to the Super Bowl with that defense.
Maybe, but they've never won a Super Bowl without a top 5.
Well, I mean, agreed, but that was then and this is now. I think now in today's NFL, you can win with a top 15 defense. And I honestly believe that.
It's likely what the Packers will have to do. They're going to hover around the mid-swath of the NFL here, I would think, for the rest of the season. But, hey, get hot. Those turnovers start to come back. You protect the ball. Certainly anything can happen come postseason time. We do agree. The Packers are a postseason team.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so I don't want people blowing up the timeline here and saying, they won the game, calm down. No.
Yes,
you know, what you have to start doing at this juncture of the season,
right?
You have to start looking at the Packers, if you believe they're a postseason team, in relation to other postseason teams, right? You have to look at them among the best of the best.
And so among the best of the best in our league will be the Lions. I'd love to see where the Lions defense is. where they're ranked.
Yeah, right.
I don't think they're that far ahead of the Green Bay Packers.
Well, and you know what? What works for them right now is they are scoring half 100 a game.
Yeah.
And when you're in that situation and you're facing that, defense is a lot easier to play when a team's down 30 points, isn't it?
True.
A lot easier to play.
True that.
When we come back on the other side, a deeper dive into the 49ers. Deeper dive. Gary's top 5 in the NFL. I think he likes the Lions at number 1. But who falls in after that? Where do the Packers fit in his hierarchy? We'll wrap up the program with some final thoughts after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
I'm comfortable in saying this. This was the biggest waste of a season in Wisconsin sports history. This is worse than Ray Rowe.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
But without Giannis, I have a hard time saying that.
Well, then give me a comparable. What was worse? Give me a worse season.
Chewy, that's easy. That's so easy.
What?
2011 Packers.
Morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tosher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned business for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off and 0% interest for 12 months on your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's double flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
Panther Arena is the place to be this weekend as Milwaukee men's basketball hosts the Cream City Challenge presented by Cream City Mortgage. The action gets underway on Friday at 7 as the Panthers take on Portland State. Saturday's matchup for Milwaukee is a 3 p.m. game versus Wofford, plus a Sunday matinee against St. Thomas with tip-off at 1:30. Each day features 2 basketball games for one price. Lock in your seats now for the Cream City Challenge this weekend at Panther Arena. Help tilt the floor. Visit MKEPanthers.com to select your seat. Panther Athletics for the MKE.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
I feel like that's how a lot of the games go in the NFL. I think that just goes to show how much you got to capitalize on every drive and try and come away with points, and how critical the ball is in those games, and you can't turn the ball over and expect to win those games. So obviously, like you said, only 3 possessions the first half. You would love to have more, but they're so critical that you gotta go down there and get points with every possession you have, and really maximize every op.
Yeah, Packers had 2 drives and at the doorstep. Really, Jordan Love's pick came at about the 2-yard line or so.
Right.
4th and goal from the 6. Instead of taking the points in the 4th quarter, Matt LaFleur decided to go for it. Jordan Love scrambled, ended up coming up short, down at about the 1.5, 2-yard line. Opportunities for points in this game, in a game that you had very few possessions. Didn't backfire fully for the Packers, but missed opportunities made this a game much tighter than we expected.
Yeah, I would say that. I would agree with that. It didn't go the way that they thought it would go coming out of a bye week. And I just think you got to give credit to Thomas Brown over there with the Chicago Bears. Here's a young man that came in last year, I believe, and took over for the Carolina Panthers when they fired their offensive coordinator and did well with Bryce Young. Now he comes in, take over for offensive coordinator that got fired in Chicago, and put a really good game plan together to help their young quarterback to succeed. And I think you saw it, and I think they'll move forward. The Bears will. I think you'll see that will be the recipe with Caleb Williams to try to get him going offensively. And what they were able to do, Greg, they were able to control the ball. They were able to limit possessions. And then if you did make a mistake like Jordan Love did, you throw a pick and you cost yourself points, they're still in the game. So what the Bears were able to do is shorten the game, limit possessions. And that worked out for the better part well for the Bears and allowed them to stay in the football game.
Still, it's a loss for the Bears, a win for the Packers. Does Green Bay crack Gary's top 5? Time for Power Rankings. So we go from reverse order here, 5 to 1. Give me your best in the NFL. And when we get down to that, we'll try and figure out where the Packers fit, if they are not in your top 5.
Greg, you know what? I'm going to put the Eagles back into the top 5.
Sounds good.
At number 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. And now all of a sudden, they've turned it on in the NFC. I mean, they kind of went away. Now they're back. Jalen Hurts is playing better. He's hot, he's cold. But he's still hot and he's cold. But right now, they're playing better football like they were early in the year. And don't look now, guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now in my top 5. They're at number 4.
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
I mean, you go from Justin Fields, and he was winning games for them, and then Mike Tomlin says, you know what, I'm smarter than you guys. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. You had the same Russell Wilson that Sean Payton just tore down on the sideline last year. The same Russell Wilson that was with the Broncos that was absolutely garbage, and he goes to the Steelers and just tore up the Ravens.
He is winning with 2 quarterbacks that nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted.
2 quarterbacks.
Nobody wanted.
That nobody wanted.
Yep. At number 3, after what happened yesterday, and I just can't put them 2, but I have to put the Buffalo Bills at 3. Now they're back in the hunt in the AFC, playing some really, really good football. And don't look now. My guy Josh Allen had to put a cape on yesterday. Were without his receivers. They were not healthy, and he basically in that defense won the game for him yesterday. But still, at number 2, I got to have the Chiefs. Although they lost to the Bills, I just can't put them behind the Bills as of yet. And number 1, everybody's favorite, it's got to be the Detroit Lions. They go up and put 52 up on Jacksonville, and nobody's put 52 up on Jacksonville this year. That just tell you how good they really are.
I'm surprised Doug Peterson still has a job right now. To be honest with you, I just am. Like you don't get undressed like that in the NFL week over week, right? Just nothing comes together. They can't win close games. They can't win. You got to go to London to win games, essentially.
Yeah.
That's been a bit of a mess. All right, let me walk through mine. Not a lot different. The order, I think, is slightly different. I noticed the Packers are not in your top 5. Do you have them in your top 10? If you were to look at the Packers, would you say, yeah, it's a top 10 football team right there?
The Packers are a top 10 football team, Greg.
Maybe tier 2 or 3, kind of maybe lumped into the Ravens.
Well, I mean, so you got a bunch of them right there, right? You've got the Ravens there. You've got the Vikings there. You've got the Packers there. They're all kind of right there in that little group. as far as I'm concerned.
The creamy middle.
Right. And, for a minute, it was the Falcons, and then they go lay an egg yesterday. Ooh. Like, you don't know. So to me, I think they kind of played their way out of that little area there in that second five.
Okay. There are a few divisions that are not represented here in my top five.
Okay.
Those include the AFC South.
That would be, yeah.
AFC South.
Yeah.
Houston, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Jacksonville.
Well, Houston's falling on hard times.
They're not. They got Nico Collins back. That should help a little bit. Yeah. And they're playing the Cowboys, so that's a win. Mm-hmm. NFC South is not represented in my top five.
Yeah, because that were the Falcons there for a minute. And
Falcons,
now the
Bucs, Saints, Panthers.
Yeah.
And the NFC West is not reflected in my top five.
49ers, Seahawks, and the Seahawks beat the 49ers yesterday, right?
They got Arizona and Los Angeles.
Yeah, and Arizona, what are Arizona doing?
Winning the division is what they're doing.
Exactly. We saw them here in Green Bay, and it felt like they didn't want to play the game.
Well, they won 4 straight since then. I don't really know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. So number 5 on my list, and I kind of struggle with here. I kind of struggle with how far to move the Chiefs down after one loss.
You don't move them down, Greg.
I look at their body of work and say they have found ways to win, but they've also just barely hung on to beat bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a week-to-week league in the NFL, all this, but that's just kind of who the Chiefs are.
Mm-hmm.
And they never really run away with anything.
No.
But I'm not going to dock them fully to move them down to number 5. I will put the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 5.
Okay.
Here's why I have them at number 5. They won 5 straight games. I still think this is a team that is buoyed by their defense, and their defense gives their offense enough opportunities. But come playoff time, I don't see Russell Wilson and Najee Harris beating high-quality AFC playoff teams. I don't see it.
Greg, did they score a touchdown yesterday? Can you look? I don't think they did.
Well, that's
I don't think they scored a touchdown.
Part of the issue is like me in high school. Scoring's not easy.
They're not scoring. They didn't score a touchdown yesterday, but that defense is incredible.
Defense is legit, no doubt. They did get a win over the Ravens. They were frustrating Lamar Jackson like no other. That's a bitter rivalry. Keep that in mind. It's a rivalry game. Number 4 on my list are the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles, I think, are a quality team in the NFL. They've also rattled off 6 straight now.
Yeah.
Got a lead over the Commanders, who have dropped 2 straight in the division. That's still an interesting division to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
I just can't get out of my head narrow victories over bad teams.
Okay.
I can't. And likely they should be facing a back-to-back losing streak here with a loss to the Broncos. And they got outclassed by the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills are number 2 on my list. They are 9-2. They've won 6 straight games.
They
106 in the point differential.
Yeah.
And then number 1 is Detroit. Just absolutely destroying everybody. Best point differential in the NFL, and they've won 8 straight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so similar complexion. Real quick on the 49ers.
Sure.
5-5. We know what kind of headaches they've given the Packers in years past. Kind of got to forget the record here, don't you?
You do. And no one wants to say this, but it's like playing the Bears, really. I mean, I know we were a better team than the Bears, but sometimes you got to throw the records out and just see where the chips fall, where they may. I mean, both teams know each other. They're very familiar. Both coaching staffs know each other. So, like I say, it'd be great if Robert Saleh was on the sideline wearing Bears-issued uniforms.
That's what we're looking for on Sunday.
Did I say Bears-issued? I mean,
you did, but
Packer.
I know what you mean.
Packer-issued.
3:25 to kick. Finally out of the run of noon games here. It's going to be a lot of 3:25 and national TV broadcasts in the evening for the Packers from here on out. We are out of time here. I want to thank the law firm of Haley, and Jimmy for keeping us on track here at Potawatomi's Rockin' Brews. Thanks to Chris Larson for producing the program. For Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Matzik signing off. Potawatomi Football Monday.
Good night.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Fisco.